Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have you Gallo-Neal versus Winters in the second Asia Pacific tournament, and this is the lower bracket round 3. We saw Winters get knocked down from the semi-final to this game, and Gallo-Neal's worked his way through the lower bracket to find his way here. Winner of this game will move on to the third place final to face off against 4. So we'll have to wait and see who wins this one. But first of all, let's have a look at the map and the game. So this is Sainte-Mère-Église Duellists, and Gallo-Neal today is going to be bringing out the Guards Armoured, Winters the 17th SS Panzergrenadier. So both divisions pretty damn strong, have proven their worth throughout multiple tournaments. The Guards Armoured focusing on Humbers and the Cromwell 6s and the Cromwell 7, of course, and then on the 17th SS side, it's all about the Stoss Troop, close range engagement, the Stugs, and the Nebelwerfers. So I expect Winters to be able to take control of this town relatively easily with the help of things like Nebelwerfers and his Stoss Troop early on. But it's going to be up to Gallo-Neal to find his way around the town in order to win the game. And that is very possible. There is open ground on both the top and bottom side that can be taken advantage of. Let's have a look at what sort of units are going down here. We have Humber Mark III in the top side with Recon and an M5 half-track with probably motorised rifles. Humber Mark III rifles and Stuart 6 heading towards the town. We've got 3 units of rifles there and a command infantry also heading towards the town, and on the bottom side it's going to be a Humber Mark III and the Cromwell 6. This Cromwell 6 is going to be very important to take out any AT guns that Winters purchases early on. Up on the top side, AT gun is going to come out from the start with a command infantry and an MG up there. For the town, there is going to be a mortar or Nebelwerfer with a Stoss Troop most likely. Then we got more infantry for the town. Looks like more Stoss Troop, a Panzergren in there, and an MG with the command infantry. And then on the very bottom side, we have the SDKF Z10, which is going to be bringing in a Pack 40 with the SBW 221 and also a command infantry. It's very important this command infantry keeps this AT gun with at least one veterancy. That's extremely important, and we'll have to see how this 221 does against the Humbers, because honestly that's a pretty good choice for dealing with Humbers in the early game for sure. Those 221s are basically like anti-tank rifles which have quite a high rate of fire and therefore match up to the Humbers quite nicely. Either way, off we go, and the units will be flooding onto the road there to find their way towards the town. That is indeed a Nebelwerfer, as you can see there, and if we go down to the bottom side, that is also a Pack 40. So the main thing we're going to be looking out for at the start here is whether or not this Pack 40 can find a kill onto the Cromwell 6. That is going to be extremely important, or whether it happens the other way around, because if this Cromwell 6 can deal with the Pack 40, then honestly Gallo-Neal could push around the bottom side of this map quite nicely. This 221 though is definitely trying to make some ground to the bottom side, zooming across that road. Try and get some recon right down here, which would be very nice because that would be well out of the way of any of Gallo-Neal's forces for a long time. On the top side, Pack 38 has engaged the Humber Mark III, and there's not much there really to stop it. Nebelwerfer 41 has engaged on the rifles in the town. Stoss Troop charging forwards, managed to get a Panzerfaust onto the half-track. Looks like they've already taken control of the town, honestly. With both the motorised rifle leader and the rifles both pinned down, it's not going to take long for the Stoss Troop to make those guys surrender. And getting a surrender onto the motorised rifle leader would be perfect, but I don't think that's going to happen just yet. Stoss Troop still zooming forwards. Panzergrenadier keeping in range with their command, that's important. MG42 is just annihilating the rifles right now. Pack 40 has opened up onto the Cromwell 6 here. The Panzergrenadier is not in range though. This is a bit of a mistake here from Winters. He does ideally want the command star to be on that Pack 40, and just as the Pack 40 gets the veterancy, the shot lands, internal fragments. That Cromwell actually has nowhere to go. This is pretty devastating actually. Winters needs to make sure he's actually targeting the Cromwell 6. I would expect that to be the case. He doesn't want that Cromwell 6 to get behind the tree line, and it has. Okay, so either way, the Cromwell 6 is out of action due to the internal fragments, and this Humber Mark III is taking a lot of damage from the 221, but didn't get killed. So I think Gal got off quite lightly with that, honestly. This Pack 40 should have found the kill onto the Cromwell 6, but changed target due to the Cromwell 6 being forced to fall back. Now near the town, Stoss Troop did manage to kill off the Humber Mark III that was there. They're going to be forced to fall back after the 2-inch carrier pinned them down, but rifles have found their way on top of the rifles in the building here at close range if they can get into the same building. Honestly, the Stoss Troop should win that engagement. They actually pin down the rifles and get the surrender instead. This MG42 still doing work. Normally it would be an absolute death sentence to have the MG42 in a tower like this, because of the fire support that would come down onto that unit, especially from something like the Stuart. The Stuart isn't actually in range with its machine guns, so isn't firing on the MG42 yet, even though, well, the Stuart did kill off a Stoss Troop on the bottom side. The Stoss Troop, though, killed off the rifles that were advancing, and now it's only the motorized rifle leader contesting the town. On the top side, this Pack 38, killing the Humber Mark III was very important, because now there's nothing to stop this SBW-221 from just charging up here other than the motorized rifles. That motorized rifle will have to land a Piat shot, which is not something that we see very often. And we have some Stoss Troop on the way anyway to try and take care of that. Motorized rifles are going to move in to that building if they take an off return fire. They will fire their Piat straight into the 221. Will they find the kill? No, they won't. Ammo storage hit, but they did kill the Stoss Troop squad before they unloaded. That is very important. Motorized rifles making a very good play there. Another Piat fired towards the 221, but the 221 got out of range. Stoss Troop on the bottom side were killed off instead of the rifles. Rifles actually won out that engagement. This is interesting. After what was a very strong start into the town by Winters, it seems as though Gal O'Neill has managed to stabilise. I'm not entirely convinced about this motorized rifle just running forwards here though, as losing those motorized rifles will lose him a lot of ground. He does still have the M5 half-track keeping the front line forwards, but I feel like he could have just put him on back onto return fire and kept it at 50-50, because now it's gone back to a +1 for Winters. More rifles are coming into this town, and I'm not entirely sure if Gal O'Neill should be sort of concentrating on the town here. The Nebelwerfer's first rocket went straight into the command infantry here, and that means all of these infantry squads are just ripe to be surrendered. Like, motorized rifles, they just didn't stand a chance. Panzergrenz and the MG42 just mowing them down, forcing them back, and that Nebelwerfer burning them alive all at the same time. Stoss Troop here have the potential to jump forward, smoke, and then maybe use a Panzerfaust on this M5 half-track, so Winters might do that. But Panzergrenz here have taken control of the bottom side of the town now, after moving in and killing off the 1-strength rifle squad. So Gal O'Neill's in a pretty bad spot right now, because this Cromwell 6 not having any ammo is really hard for him to deal with. Like, he needs something to take out this Pack 40, and I'm pretty sure he can see it. He does have the recon on it. So bringing in a second Cromwell 6 now is, well, hopefully going to do the job. We've seen this before though with Eugen in the Great Paradox tourney, where he had 2 Cromwell 6s in Phase A and both of them got internal fragmented, and that was just absolutely tragic. So I wouldn't like to see that happen again. Otherwise, Gal O'Neill's also going to be waiting until Phase B to reload both of those. Cromwell 7 has come in on this top side though, and this is actually a really good choice for dealing with the Pack 38. Pack 38 can't penetrate the Cromwell 7 at max range, so he could use that to directly attack the Pack 38 while also having rifles attack these positions and having that sort of fire support there would be very, very useful and an easy way to take this ground. So I'd like to see Gallienil possibly forget about the middle and put some more pressure on this top side where he has the fire support in position in both the form of the half track and also the Cromwell 7. This Cromwell 6 is now going to be going for an attack onto the Pack 40. Pack 40 gets the one-shot kill. I don't know if that was just a missed micro. I'm assuming it must have been. Gallienil must have like right-clicked on that and just forgot to like fire position command it, because that Pack 40 just one-shot the Cromwell 6 at max range, and well, there goes his chances of killing that Pack 40 until phase B. 2-inch carrier still firing away into the town. This 2-inch carrier has been trying to do its best to pin down this infantry, but you can just see how meager the HE is on that by the amount it doesn't pin down the Stoss troop here. Pack 38 going to one pop a half track there. Cromwell 7 going to be opening up onto these Panzergrens, but this M5 half track now finding itself in line of sight of the Pack 38 as well. That's going to go down. 2 units used for fire support now dead. That Gallienil needs to focus this Pack 38 with the Cromwell 7. And he needs to forget about this town. There's a lot of resources going into this town, like these motorized rifles. We've got some recon moving up here. And I feel like it's just unnecessary when it should be easy enough for Gallienil to make ground elsewhere. He's now opted to go for the Sexton, which should be pretty good at taking out this Pack 40, honestly. But here we can see a Stuart 6 now falling to the Panzerschreck squad. Panzerschreck, once it jumps into the building, will find the shots, and boom goes the Stuart 6. Pack 38 has managed to force back the Cromwell 7 here. You can see that the Pack 38 did take some damage in that engagement. But I think the reason that that's actually causing a panic for the Cromwell 6 is because I was going to say it found 800 meter range, but it hasn't. It must just be taking bounces like so. So the Stug 3 now on the field for Winters. That Stug 3 is a good answer to this Cromwell 7, since its high veterancy does make it pretty damn accurate. You see the Nebelwerfer there landing almost directly on top of both the M5 half-track and the Dingo. Just about managed to survive that. This Sexton has too many targets at the moment. First of all, going to be targeting the Pack 40. That's pretty important. Then should be trying to counter battery the Nebelwerfers, because I don't think they're being moved in between strikes. But with the Cromwell 7 here falling back, Gallienil is going to lose pressure on the top side to the Stug. I like Winter's answer to that Cromwell 7, but Gallienil just didn't like utilize that early enough. Ideally, maybe he should have brought it down to the bottom side and used it to help out with the Pack 40. Because if the Sexton maybe put down a bit of smoke here or just pinned it down, then the Cromwell could just charge down the bottom side instead and just keep some infantry squads up here. Because I don't know, I don't feel like there's a reason to spend so much on a tank if you're not going to use it in combination with other units. So here comes the Sexton fire again, almost killing off that Pack 40. If he does kill off the Pack 40, that actually opens up a place where he can put some infantry for sure. He could charge some half-tracks across the open ground down here. But the 221 there going to defeat the Humber Mark III. The Humber Mark III has a real hard time of killing a 2-armor target at max range. However, the 8 AP of the 221 has no problem penetrating the 3 armor of a Humber. Nebelwerfer's firing away once again, this time towards the 2-inch carrier. Sexton needs to find this kill onto the Pack 40. Currently it is not. Due to it not having that high veterancy, the sort of reload time is pretty slow, and therefore the Pack 40 has managed to get away from that. Nebelwerfer finds the kill. Actually, I think it's probably the Pack or the Panzerschreck found the kill onto the 2-inch carrier. I have no idea where that was going, but these motorized rifles force back in all of that. Bedford Supply now coming up to resupply the Cromwell 6. And maybe with this Cromwell 6 ready to go, Gallo Neal can make some ground on the bottom. However, +1 still for Winters. He's made 445 points. This Cromwell 7 is still struggling with the Stug 3. Sherman 5 will also struggle due to its lack of veterancy. However, there is a Dingo here that might be able to help out. But a 3-star Stug, that's not going to miss very often. First shot bounces. That was still a hit. Second shot hits. Sherman 5 also hitting its mark. Can they find the kill though, either of them? I can't believe this Stug 3 is actually missing at this point. It does have 6 accuracy and 3-star veterancy. Whereas the Sherman 5 has 5 accuracy and 1-star veterancy. Okay, now the Stug going for the kill onto the Dingo. That's actually a pretty good idea from Winters. If you could take out that Dingo, it removes the veterancy from both the Cromwell and the Sherman, which is a pretty big debuff. But now this Stug 3 is actually getting stressed, and he's got to be careful. That starts to fall back and shows side armor. That Cromwell 7 has a chance to find a kill. Ju-87 though, might have something to say about that. It's coming in. What is it targeting? Targeting this Cromwell 7 first, and then the Sherman 5. This is very important. He's not going to find the kill onto the Cromwell 7. Does knock out the shooter though, and saves his Stug 3, which is a large part of that, so nicely done. Pack 43 has been brought in here, gets direct hit by the Sexton, takes it down to 3 health. That is not going to be killing the Humber Mark 3 today. Oh, Nebelwerfer goes and takes out the supply. That's very nice indeed there from Winters. Marder 3 has replaced the Pack 40 on this bottom side. And now that Marder 3 is going to be engaging the Cromwell 6. Is Gallo Neal not paying attention? I don't know. But that Cromwell 6 can't really do much unless it finds an open top shot. And oh my god, the Cromwell 6 gets internal fragmented again. It gets internal fragmented for a second time. And the Bedford Supply is nowhere to be seen. That's 50 points down the drain. And the second time the Cromwell 6 gets internal fragmented. This is almost more tragic than Eugen's double internal fragments. Oh my. Stug 3 here has managed to take out the Sherman on the top side as well. This Stug 3 is almost ready to take out the Cromwell 7 as well. I think Winter's just reversing it to get the 3-star veterancy, which is pretty important. Massive push coming into the centre now from Gallo Neal. Look at this flood of rifles, but there is not a command unit to be seen. And this could just end up going very badly indeed. 2-star Stormtroop units against rifles in the open. You can see how much the rifles just got chunked after the first, it's like 3 health every volley of MP40 fire. They also have the PPSHs. So much damage coming out of those Stormtroop. They've even still got the MG42 support, and here comes the Nebelwerfer to make things even easier. Holy moly. You just can't charge in rifles like this, unsupported, without command infantry. It's just setting yourself up to fail. The Nebelwerfer 42 there being the one to do the job. Crazy stuff. Stug 3 has died on the top side. Looks like the Cromwell 7 finally found the kill there, accompanied by another Sherman 5, so maybe Gallo Neal can make some ground up there now instead. Sexton is finally firing on the Nebelwerfers as well, and they're all in exactly the same place, so that should maybe score a couple of kills, or at least keep the Nebelwerfers offline for a little bit. Pack 38 goes down on the top side as well. This is where he needs his rifles now. He's just put all of his rifles into the town, but if Gallo Neal had brought the rifles with the Cromwell 7 and the Sherman 5 on the top side, then he definitely could be using them to support this push and take this ground. which is way more important than taking the town itself, where you know that Stormtroops are going to beat your infantry every single time. I think the main problem though is of course that this Cromwell 6 has been out of action for like the majority of the game. He did manage to take out the Pack 40 eventually down here, but just as he did, Marder 3 takes its place, internal fragments once again. That must have been so frustrating for Gal O'Neill. These things happen though, and the Sexton has still got a chance to do some serious damage to these Nebelwerfers. Imagine if it hits this supply vehicle. I'm not sure if that would blow up the same way as one with supply would, but still. Those aren't going to be supplying anytime soon due to that artillery fire coming down. So he's keeping the Nebelwerfers offline, which is pretty nice indeed. And the Sherman 5's being really aggressive up here, but here comes the Ju-87. Is it going to be successful this time, I wonder? Bounce. Oh, the critical ammo explosion onto the Sherman 5. That is almost game over here for Gal O'Neill, I feel. If this Ju-87 kills the Cromwell 7 as well, that is definitely going to put Gal O'Neill in a tough spot. Transmission damage. Oh, not quite finding the kill, but definitely getting a nice critical there with the transmission damage. That Cromwell might find itself surrounded, and it is, so it's not going to be recovering from that morale damage anytime soon. Really nice use of the Ju-87, even came down and put some shots into Harris. It's a tough spot indeed. Dingo is rushing back to save the day. Needs to get his Cromwell 7 back online. Okay, there we go, he has recovered, good stuff. This Firefly is probably brought in to take care of the Marder 3, which is a good choice. I would just like to see this Cromwell maybe move back towards its Bedford supply to get itself reloaded. Because the Firefly and Cromwell combo here should be able to make ground on the bottom side quite nicely. Nebelwerfer though hitting the mark, smashes into these motorized rifles that were just dropped out by the M5 half-track. Tell you what, Winters has been making fantastic use of these Nebelwerfers throughout the game, landing some perfect strikes onto the infantry of Gal O'Neill. But Gal O'Neill has also been presenting those infantry quite nicely to Winters as well. I feel like it's almost half and half in terms of like Winters' like good positioning of those Nebelwerfer strikes and Gal O'Neill's bad positioning of his infantry. Cromwell 7's here, gonna get Nebelwerfer. That actually ends up killing the Dingo, which removes the veterancy for the Cromwell 7. Crusader AA Mark II, Miss Micro, goes straight into the line of sight of the Befehl Panzer 4H. And yeah, things not really going too well. Harris is going to be engaging the Marder 3. Some veterancy down here wouldn't go amiss with like a command unit of some sort, but with a couple shots from Harris, he has managed to make Winter's Marder 3 fall back. Now he should probably pursue that in order to find the kill. From his perspective though, I'm pretty sure he's very wary of enemy AT, but he does have the recon here to see that there isn't any in nearby tree lines.
Stay low.
So Harris is going to move forwards. He is going to find the shot again. Oh, Winters just microing that. He takes the shot, micros it back. A very nice Winters indeed. Nebelwerfer going to now be slamming into more units here. That Nebelwerfer strike actually killed the Humber Mark III. That Nebelwerfer is so damn strong. Takes out a half-track as well. Wow. The 27HE there doing a lot of favours. Takes out the majority of that push. This Cromwell 7's in a pretty tough spot. Sherman 5's in a tough spot as well. This Befehl Panzer 4H could possibly pop out and kill that, especially with the help of the Stug 4 that's now come in. That Stug 4 does have the 1,200 meter range. which the Sherman 5 and Cromwell 7 suffer against. Harris is now engaging the Panzergrenz. Winter's going to be moving back into range with his Marder 3. Another Nebelwerfer firing at the infantry here, and just look at the line of Nebelwerfer fire that has come down onto Gallowneal's infantry. Absolutely horrific to play against, I'm sure. Winter's making really good use of the Nebelwerfers, and that's exactly what the 12th SS, or the 17th SS, sorry, are known for. Stug 4, only a matter of time really until it finds the penetrating shot onto the Sherman 5. Panzer 4 also going to start taking shots now. Has much higher AP, so it has a better chance. Cromwell 7 now coming into line of sight almost. The Sherman 5 is now dead, and there's going to be a double team between the Befehl Panzer 4H and the Stug 4 onto the Cromwell 7. That is a driver wounded, but transmission's damaged, so that's going to keep moving. Stosstroop are charging down that Cromwell 7, which is why Gallowneal was forced to like pretty much reverse that rather than go for like an attack move. So Marder 3 going to be popping that half track. Harris is going to be looking for the line of sight there. This Cromwell 6 has got itself a little bit of ammunition now due to the Bedford supply. I'm not convinced that this needed a separate supply though, as just moving back that Cromwell to this Bedford supply in that time would have taken just as long. Cromwell 7 has died on the top side, so does the half track here. Marder 3. It seems like Winters is getting the armor advantage, and he's very far behind in points right now. Or in very far ahead, sorry, in points. Gallowneal is very far behind him overall points on the field. If you look at the disparity of units, you can see how far in favour it is. Recon squad is moving up here. Some really nice Nebelwerfer strikes. Another one now coming down onto all of this reinforcing infantry. Harris almost going to be getting into line of sight of the Marder 3. This is going to be the important engagement. This is going to make or break Gallowneal, I think, although across most of the field at the moment, things are not going in favour of Gallowneal. The Panzer 4H and the Stug 4 are finding their way towards these sextons, which is not good. Oh dear. There's a Pack 43, boys. That is not a good sight for Harris. He does not want to be in the face of that, for sure. It's only a matter of time until that Pack 43 lands a shot, and that's 22 AP versus 11 armour. He's already been hit now by the Marder 3, and Harris goes down. Sexton goes down. Oh, Lord, this has just crumbled. The front line has crumbled for Gallowneal. And I think it's just odd decisions in the early game as to where to push and where to put the priority on this map. Definitely put Gallowneal in the bad position in the late game. Like by the time he sort of decided to push on the top and bottom side, he didn't support it with infantry, and that really put him in a bad position. So after 25 minutes and 15 seconds, Winters is going to win that game pretty convincingly. 2,405 kills to 780 losses. Fantastic job, Winters. Gallowneal, commiserations, is going to be knocked out of the second Asia Pacific tournament. In terms of kills and losses, kills went over to these motorized rifles and rifles at the start. That rifle's taking out 2 Stosstroop is quite amazing. Not something you see very often. Cromwell 7 did take out the Stug 3 on the top side. And we saw the Cromwell 6 eventually take out the Pack 40. But with this Cromwell 6 being internal fragmented twice on the bottom, and then the other Cromwell 6 that came in to reinforce getting one shot, that was a massive swing in favour of Winters, for sure. And it made it very hard, without the Sexton, for Gallowneal to push. So he was forced to bring in that Sexton as well, and that's a lot of points invested in taking out Pack 40. In terms of losses, look how much damage these Stosstroop did. That is a lot of kills, a lot of infantry kills. Pack 38 taking out significant half tracks, and the Humber Mark III in the top side was good. That prevented that push early on. Panzergrenz there taking out more rifles. Panzerstreck squad here took out the Stuart 6 and a weirdly micro 2-inch carrier. Then we had the Marder 3 take out a 17-pounder. I don't know where that happened. Must have shot the half track or something that it came in and found the kill that way. Nebelwerfer's also doing a fantastic job across the board, and this Stug 4 coming in on the top side was more than Gal O'Neill could deal with his Sherman 5 and Cromwell 7. And that's where I'm going to have to leave it. So that means that Winters is going to move on to the third place final to face off against Winters. And then after that, I have for you the final of the second Asia Pacific tournament, which is a best of 3 between Eugene and Q2521. So look forward to those games. But in the meantime, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.